No, I haven't.
Hi, it's Nicole and Love here on Positive Impact. How are you? We are so happy that you've joined us today and feel like it's a good idea to hang out with us. Today we're talking about a little bit about social media, and in some cases it's been a very positive experience for a lot of people. It's brought a lot of people together, and really kind of like created a miraculous environment where people can reconnect, long lost siblings, or if you've been adopted, you find your parents. All kinds of great stuff has come from it. But more recently, I saw that Netflix, the Social Dilemma documentary. And I was really impressed that so many, and unfortunately, I don't think Love has seen it. Have you seen it yet?
I have not seen that. And there's another one that I've got to see. It's called Unwell.
Oh yeah, there's Unwell is very good too. That pertains to kind of like interesting holistic remedies and the benefits and the pros and cons in each case. But when I saw the Netflix doc, what?
Actually, the 5th series on Unwell is all about ayahuasca at the ayahuasca church in Orlando that they filmed at, and I was in that ceremony when they filmed.
Oh, you're kidding.
I haven't seen it yet. One of the guys I have an interview with him tomorrow at 12, I think. Lance, he created the Warriors where they work with vets for post-traumatic stress and all, drink ayahuasca. And so it pertained to a lot of those, a lot of vets were being filmed. I wasn't being filmed. I would just happen to be drinking that weekend there.
So did you see the woman who seized up? And
yeah, you know what? They've gotten stricter now about the intake forms, because what happens is people are not honest about what their recreational drugs are. And she was a heroin addict.
Well, she said that. Yes, she said that it cured her from heroin, but then when she went back the last time, that it was scary. It's pretty scary. Anyway,
she was taking
but that's fine. You save that topic for when you get that guest. I just wanted to reiterate how important it is for us to kind of not just monitor our kids, but get involved. And so if you have the opportunity to see the Netflix documentary, The Social Dilemma, I'd strongly recommend it. And I know Love has 20-something-year-old sons, and I have 20-something-year-old sons. And it doesn't seem quite as big a deal for that age group. I think they're better able to discern and break away from social media if they need to. But I do find a huge difference with my 15-year-old. So I have 2 in their 20s and 1 15. And, it's interesting because I can say to the 20-year-olds, put your phone on the counter while we're having dinner. And this was one of the examples they had in the documentary. But the 15-year-old will consistently pick it up over and over again. He'll set it in the center of the table, but he'll pick it up over and over again. Have you done that with your kids?
I don't think so.
No? Not limited?
But I don't know. They're learning. We were all present during times that we had, because I'm so busy. I was probably worse than them, not with the phone, but when they wanted to watch a movie or something or play video games, I would just be in the room. And I thought that my presence in the room was helpful in spending time with them. Mm-hmm. What I learned was being on my computer and stuff it's not the same, because I was always working. When you work out of your home, it's hard to shut things off. Even when I couldn't sleep at night, I would get up and start working. I'm like, I can't waste this time that I'm awake on trying to fall asleep. So why not just get something done?
Yeah, I can't tell you how many family photos I have of me at my desk at my computer while the boys are playing on the floor around me.
It changed from the old days of cleaning the house to working out of your house.
Yeah. I mean, it is true. It is a juggling act, no doubt about it. And everyone who's been spending time at home now because of COVID lockdown or a self-quarantine situation, you kind of can relate about how difficult it is to entertain your kids, but also work. So, I mean, right now, Quinn is going to, he's not going anywhere. He's remotely learning at home. And I've been fortunate enough, and I wrote an article about this, a blog about this years ago, about how important it is to work out with your kids. And if you don't have a workout that you can do together, then something else with your kids. And a lot of people say, oh, I play video games with them. And I have to remind them that by doing that, you're reinforcing that dopamine addiction. Instead of showing them a different way they can get that dopamine high and be addicted to something else. That's why I think sports are great for kids. That's why I loved when you said your kids love sports and everything. I didn't have that kind of, they had passion very young. And then they kind of like grew out of it around 13, 14, because they're not super competitive. So if you're not super competitive, it ends up being kind of like an issue if you're looking for something physical for your kids to do. But,
and it consumes your whole weekends. You have no life. Your days, it would be so much more convenient if they made sports right after school.
Oh yeah. Well, and I'm sure it's a scheduling issue and whatnot, but when it comes to social media and your kid isn't very athletic or isn't involved in athletics, I have found it very helpful. We've done a lot of things in the past to kind of engage the boys on a different level. We built an obstacle course in our backyard so that they can run around together. It was actually just a birthday gift to my youngest son, and it ended up being like a weekend warrior group that came over every weekend to play on the obstacle course. But more recently, while he's remote learning, I've had the opportunity to personal train him for gym. So I'm helping him keep up with his log and everything. But at the same time, it gives us an opportunity. What we do first to warm up is we walk through a park or around our rec center, and we'll walk for about 15, 20 minutes. And he doesn't look at his phone. And that whole time he's engaged in a conversation with me. But I'm also, one of the things they brought up in the social media dilemma movie, the documentary that I was watching was, the mom had everyone put all their phones into a locked container for 1 hour. There was a timer on the container. They set it aside. She sits back down and says, well, what should we talk about? And I think that's kind of like, to a kid, that it's not engaging to say that. Right away I would just jump into things like, have you tried any artwork lately? Or do you want to experience what it is to skateboard? Or have you ever tried to do a handstand or something else that's engaging them, gets them to think about other things other than the social media. So I was kind of struck by that comment, like, really, that's the best you could come up with? You're the parent of these kids and you have no clue what might interest them. So try to make a list in advance. If you can't think of it on your feet, make a list in advance of things that you think they might be interested in. I was really surprised, and I think I have one around here, when I had a nice conversation with my youngest once, that he was interested in spray painting for art. So I was
going to say art is one of what is and was one of our favorite projects. The boys love painting, and they had
I'll show you his.
I always had body paint too, but one time they painted the whole back patio. They painted themselves. It's one of my favorite photographs. They were covered head to toe with gold paint, all kinds of colors of paint, and it was so fun. And still to this day, my outdoor furniture that I had on the patio has splashes of all their paint that time. And it was so cool because they took a picture of themselves and they look like statues, human statues. It was super, super cute. And it's super fun. And I always had canvas for them to paint on, and they just went to town with it.
I love that. I think that's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite Christmas gifts, to always give paint all kinds of paint. We had every kind of paint.
That's what I did too. I bought all kinds of spray paint. And we had to get like, we had to pull out our ID for Christmas shopping because they wanted to make sure I'm like, do you see me? Do you see how old I am?
The ID for what? I don't get that.
Spray paint. They don't want you buying spray paint because you tag.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Isn't that cool?
It's so cool.
He just discovered he had this talent, and now he has people that they want to commission him.
Wow.
So he's been doing,
That's great.
I don't know if you can see.
I love it.
This way. Isn't that pretty?
Amazing.
And he's just, so we got him all kinds of paints. And so it did a couple of things by doing, something different. He kind of got an engaging, I got an engaging conversation out of him. He got to recognize that he has talents outside of gaming and social media, and it also could be lucrative, so he's been very excited to do that. So I stress, go back to find the thing that, so in other words, 2 out of my 3 sons, my background was in art. 2 out of my 3 sons claim they don't have, or they have talent, but I know they all do. So I would always pose the question, well, why don't we try it? Let's just try it and see what happens, by taking that genuine interest in your child's, not just welfare, but your child's intrigue, and allowing them to explore. Don't you think that's so empowering?
I do. It's very empowering. Definitely. And I was blessed enough that my boys went to Montessori school too. So they learned to run the business. They ran the cafeteria when they were in the junior high, and they made money, and the money that they earned, they got to go on a trip every year.
That's awesome.
Yes. So we had lemonade stands outside of our place, cookie stands. We've done it.
Yeah. I should show you a picture. My sons went with their dad once to one of our clients' houses. My husband owns a construction company, and he took the boys and they all chopped wood for an entire day. So now they have like 1.5 cords of wood. They're going to sell part of it, and then they get to keep the money. These are things that are like one of the representatives who spoke about the social media dilemma was saying, we have to find, everything in this country is about money, about prosperity, about monetizing things. So the answer to the social dilemma has to have some monetary incentive. It has to. So, that being said, I think, the Montessori school had the right idea. I also think it's important to embed, values in that monetary, so, I have not done this. I have friends who have done this, that brought their kids to soup kitchens, not just to donate, but to help out, and I thought that was such a brilliant idea. Unfortunately for me, it's like a really busy time of year just before the holidays, because everyone's trying to lose 5 pounds before the Christmas party, basically. But, I'm so into that. I think that's just such a fabulous idea, but
so rewarding. We used to do it. Me and my boys, we would do the soup kitchen. And then another fun project to do with them is to give them whatever amount of money. We usually did 100 single dollar bills and go out on the street and give it to people that need it. And then we were a part of, and the boys would say, "Mom, that felt so good." I really loved and enjoyed doing that. And you're also sharing and teaching them the feeling of giving, how good it feels. And it's good karma, it's good energy.
And that's a dopamine rush. That's a different kind of a dopamine rush. Endorphins, dopamine. And that's what we're trying to do, is like establish different ways of getting that reward, that rewarding feeling. So, it's artwork, it's physical activity, it's giving, it's creating something that can bring money back to you. It's giving away. I think they're all fabulous ideas.
Well, also we were a part of the spiritual cinema club. which are it's all inspirational movies. And they love that. They couldn't wait because you get like 5 a month. They mail it to you, a CD. They would rip it open before I would even get around, and they would start watching them. And
does that still exist?
it does. It still exists. It's still around. And I think now you don't even have to be a part. I think you can just live stream it or whatever. The movies.
Called the Spiritual
Cinema Club. I think Gaia owns it now. So Gaia is a great station to have. So is Disney. Disney has Disney Plus has a good inspirational movies too. So one of the movies that they saw was about the guy who wrote the book Conversations
with God.
Yeah. And it was about his life story and how he lived on the streets, how he tried everything for a job, and his wife left him. He got in a car accident. He was living on the streets, not because he was an addict of any sort. He was a guy that was really sincerely trying to work
right
for a living, and nobody would hire him because of his caste.
I think that gives kids perspective, like staring at someone on social media with 18 filters on their face and, them flaunting their latest like pocketbook, that's not reality. And moreover, I think, like one of the points that this movie was saying was like, if we don't really make an effort to change our perspective in terms of what's important here, we're going to start seeing a decay of the family unit, and that's going to start to.
That's scary.
We're going to implode. So I think it's really important to get things like that. I just posted that spiritual media group and then Gaia, because I think that's something that I am a member of Gaia, but I wasn't aware of the spiritual club, spiritual cinema.
I'm sure they own it. I'm not positive, so don't quote me on that. I just think they took it over.
And that was interesting to research, though, to figure out, because I love the idea. It's hard to find a spiritual movie, though, that that isn't too hokey.
Yeah, acting and stuff. Yeah. There is one called The Secret. Now, The Secret, the old movie, the book, they turned into a book, and Rhonda Byrne, she did 2 other books after that. They made a movie out of that, and it's got a great cast. It's Katie Holmes, and that's a cute one.
I think I've seen that. There are just so many great movies out there. That's a different kind of a dopamine addiction, but I'm a huge advocate of teaching your kids how to meditate. Have you done that, love?
Yes. And I love when my boys call me for a meditation, especially when they played sports. They would contact me and say, Mom, send me a good meditation. I need to meditate right before we play or right before I wrestle or whatever the sport they're doing. And it made me so happy because that's a huge part of my life. And I think that was part of the reason why, like the last week or so, 2 things that I haven't been doing, like I do regularly. I do usually a walk on the beach twice a day. I haven't been doing that because we had some rain. And meditation, when I get off schedule like that, it really has an effect on my life.
Oh, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. Over the weekend, it's very hard because almost everyone's home, and I'm always trying to figure out, whose schedule is what and why, when I'm going to do what I need to do, and oh wait, someone needs a ride here, or I have to get this with this person or whatever. I always find like Monday, I'm desperate to get back to my meditation, and I try to do that first thing in the morning, so it sets the tone for the rest of my day. I used to do that with my oldest son. He would wake up, and you could tell he was like kind of like out of it, and I would just feed him breakfast, and after he ate breakfast, we'd sit at the table for just like 3 minutes and breathe, just breathing together. It was like, sincerely to this day, I think that's one of the things that we've bonded over, his ability to kind of like focus with me. And then after that, subsequent to that, when he was afraid he was being psychically attacked, which is social media could be a psychic attack on some of these kids who are sensitive, so
And it is, especially if it's negative, anything, whether it's kind or not,
right.
it's energy towards your energy field.
Yeah, even
very important thoughts are negative, or they can be a double-edged sword too,
right. Or those like bright flashing lights, and then something really negative happens right after that. That's an assault on your third eye. Like that's an intense thing. So my oldest son, he would periodically say, Mom, I just had this bad experience online. Can you meditate with me? So I would invoke, God's love and prayer and say the Our Father, and then I'd hold hands with him. But then I also put, I gave them all their confirmation medals, with a cross, and I would put that in his hand, and I'd say, just hold this now. And then I would talk him through a light meditation that God's light is shining through the top of his head, moving down into his body. And, teenagers and kids are going to tell you, oh, Mom, that's hokey. Like, that's bullshit. I don't want to do that. But honestly, like, it sank in. And if you have a good level of communication with your kids and you're open and you're honest with each other, I mean, we talk about everything, then they're going to be more receptive. But you have to establish that relationship first. Right? Yeah. You have to be able to say, I'm so interested in you. I am so thrilled about your presence in my life.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what you have to say. I can't wait to hear what you create and who you are and all the things that I'm interested in, and I think that's the crucial point here, is that a lot of people just kind of like park their kids in front of a screen, and then they wonder why they're not connecting with them as they get older. And you have to create those opportunities throughout their life. And it takes time and attention and conscious awareness. Like, oh, now, my 15-year-old can't wait to get off the computer because he's on there 6-8 hours a day for school. So it's that little gap in time between school ending and dinner starting that I'm like, come on, let's go for a walk, or let's go work out,
Nature feeling. Part of that communication too is not reacting, kind of going like, because some things I wish I didn't know about the person. I'm like, oh my God, he's telling me about sex. Oh God.
Well,
you have to be like, or whatever it is, whatever. Because my boys share a lot of things with me too. They'd probably kill me that I'm bringing it up in a podcast.
No. I think it's healthy to talk about sex. And I've often, kind of like, we have running jokes about the smell of the bathroom and, like, oh my God. But I think it's healthy to do that because, God created all of this, all of that, He created all of it. And for us to like leave any part of it out, is kind of a mistake. And I think it sets up, what is it called? Kind of resistance within each person. Oh, I shouldn't talk about that, or that's not right, or that's not good. And that's not the case. It's just kind of like being honest. Let's be honest about, they have sexual drive, they have desires, they have. And I even said to Quinn, some of this anime stuff, Quinn, is like soft porn. He's like, oh, okay. All right. Like it never occurred to him that, and he was like, all right, I'm not going to do that anymore. So it was kind of interesting how my perception of it, kind of raised his awareness, like, oh, right. Okay.
Like they don't really want to hear their mom say that word.
Right. Or to ever witness them watching anything like that ever again, So it's interesting. Like, I think it is important to have those open conversations so that you're clear, let's be clear about this. This is probably not the healthiest thing you could be doing with your time right now, and yet I understand, you have hormones and you're doing all these things and it's fine. It's beautiful. It's just that we don't want you to be fixated on it all the time. So, not that he was or anything, but just to kind of like be able to communicate. My older sons have talked to me about their relationships, and I am deeply grateful that they feel so so that they can trust me. And, I was listening to that song, my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and it's better than yours. So I started singing that one morning. I came into the kitchen and my son was like,
Mom's twerking.
And he was like, I never thought I'd hear my mother sing that. I'm like, oh, it gets better. I think I was a stripper in another life.
They definitely don't want to know that.
But it's a part of being human. Your sexuality is a part of being human, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's wrong. I think it's got its time and place. And my parents were very affectionate with each other, and they it was like, no, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, if the door was locked, you were just not allowed.
I hated that.
I know, but it was healthy. It was healthy for the relationship. It was healthy for them to have that. And it's healthy for me to recognize.
Did they ever walk in on you?
Huh?
Did they ever walk in on you?
No, they complained that I was loud.
Oh,
Shall we not go there right now? What was I just saying about healthy and reaction? But anyway, it's all good. Just to know that, exactly how we're experiencing these awkward moments now is exactly how they should be experienced with our children. So they know we're human. So they know that, we're trying to maybe accomplish things perfectly, but we're imperfect in that process. And we're still madly in love with our kids, and I think that's the main key,
I'm reading this amazing book right now.
Yeah, you showed this to us before, didn't you? Guide to Everlasting. Oh, no. I think you did show this to us, but I don't remember the title. Okay.
So good.
So good.
It kind of touches on all that, being intimacy, holding the container, and being present and with everyone, teaching your boys that, your sons, your daughters, or your mate. And I'm sure that your boys see true intimacy with you and your husband.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm in terms of my family, I'm in a really good place because they're all intelligent. It's up to me now to give them tools to help them feel empowered and speaking their truth. So if something is bothering them, if something is uncomfortable, online, either in a game or in a Snapchat or anything, I want them to know they can trust me to talk about, to give them not just a mother's input, but any, perspective from anyone's. I see a lot of kids kind of be like, oh, Mom, like it's just their mother. And I'm always like, I feel the same way, So I think those things are really, really important. Finding a physical outlet together, finding a passion for something else, creativity, artwork, music, something else. And then
dancing is huge.
Dancing. Oh, I used to have dance parties in my living room with my kids. Remember when we was really big, we used to do dance parties, invite all the kids on the block to come. And we did that like 3 times, and then we kind of fell off the wagon, but we used to do it.
Dance parties are good. I don't know about but every table in my house, you could dance on it. We would dance. We pretend like we're hanging from the chandeliers.
I love that. I love that. I wish I had thought of that myself. I was kind of like into, House Beautiful, like just having a gorgeous house, but I think it would have been better to have
beautiful
on tables.
The tables were just sturdier. Still beautiful. Even my desk we could dance on.
I just had glass everywhere like I have now.
Oh no, I didn't want glass anywhere. I still don't love glass everywhere. We have an outdoor table here that's glass. I just.
That's the one that is not glass. We have 2 leather ottomans in the great room, and then a wood table outside. But this table's glass. My desk is glass. But anyway, so we're wrapping it up, I guess. Did you have any final thoughts about how to raise kids and the social dilemma that it presents around screens.
Yeah, just be discerning and talk. Communication is huge.
Huge. Communicate. Yes. Just so important, even if it seems awkward and unreasonable or, not like a good time. It's always a good time to talk. There's never, ever a moment that I was like, wow, I wish I had never said that. You know what I mean? Like, I've never regretted any conversation with my kids.
And even if you think they're not listening, they are. Subconscious.
Yes.
Like I would play books for them when they're sleeping and different meditations and different things for them to get in their minds while they were sleeping.
Yeah, I would play them Brahms and Bach when they were babies, and just get them used to the tonality of and the regularity, the mathematics of it. So I appreciate you, love. You're awesome.
I appreciate you and everybody listening. We love you. See you
let's say a little prayer for every parent out there and child that wants to connect but doesn't know how. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. In green pastures he gives me repose. Beside restful waters he leads me. He refreshes my soul. He leads me in right paths for his name's sake. And though I may walk the dark valley of evil, I fear no evil, for you are at my side with your rod and your staff that give me courage. You spread the table before me in the sight of my foes. You anoint my head in oil. My cup overflows. Goodness and kindness follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for years and years thereafter. Heavenly Father, please bless all the people that we can reach on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and Twitter, and allow each and every parent to take charge and communicate with their child, empower their child to find different solutions to entertainment and different things to do for a dopamine rush, for more endorphins, for more love, and for more joy and creativity to enter their lives on a daily basis, seeing your hand in all of it. Thank you, dear God, and all ascended masters and all angels that help us see our beauty, our gifts on a daily basis that we can share with our children. Thank you for all of this and so much more. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you. Beautiful. That reminds me, this morning, I have my Bible that sends me quotes or Bible things. Today is, for this reason, I tell you, when I pray and ask for something, believe that you have received it and you will be given whatever you ask for. I love that one.
Ask and it shall be given you.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, love.
We'll see you Thursday.
See you Thursday. Thursday's 1:00 with psychic readings. We'll see you then. Bye.